What is up, YouTube? 8BitDo Andy back again. Today we are going to be half kind of reviewing and half modding the 8BitDo 8BitDo arcade stick. So this is a stick I got recently, and I bought it predominantly for using on the NVIDIA Shield, where I just discovered arcade emulation through RetroArch. I mean, I was doing a lot of emulating through it anyway, but I just got arcade stuff going. And I'm a big stick guy when it comes to playing arcade games, especially fighters. Now I've got an arcade cab upstairs, but sometimes you just want to slob in the chair, right? So this seemed like a good option for many reasons. I'll show you the box. So it's compatible with loads of different systems. As I say, I bought it for the Shield, which obviously uses Android, but as you can see, it works with Nintendo Switch, not something I have at the moment, but maybe one day I would quite like one. Windows, because it's X input, so Steam. Raspberry Pi, which I've definitely not ruled out in the future, although I'm leaning towards FPGA Mister, which this will also work with. So it's a good little stick to use for many systems. Contents: arcade stick itself. There are 2.4G receiver, which is very cool. Hold on, let's get in the picture. Cable and manual. So yeah, stick retails for about it's about £70, something like that. Right. So the stick itself. Now, firstly, if you're used to arcade sticks in general, stuff like the TE2 or the Quamba Obsidian, this is going to seem quite small, like in terms of wrist area and overall footprint. However, that's not a bad thing for me at the moment. I quite fancy the smaller stick, and it's really weighty. It feels like, if you compare it to a TE2 Plus, which is a nice stick, like that thing is light. And this is like a lump. It's much more solid feeling, and there's no flex at all. Like on some sticks you get that flex, and I really don't like it. You hear that kind of creaking. Now with that, of course, you do get the option on those sticks sometimes to get into the internals by just pressing a button and lifting it up like a hood. You can't do that with this. Now, the buttons and sticks that are included are not Sanwa or Sumitsu or anything like that. They're just sort of fakes, if you like. And the buttons, I would say the buttons are okay. They're pretty good. They're almost Sanwa level in Sanwa feel, but if you know a Sanwa button, you'll know it's not them. The stick, I think, needs replacing. Now, your mileage may vary. If you're not fussy, it's not a bad stick, there's nothing wrong with it, but I think replacing it would be worthwhile. I'll just show you around the stick quickly whilst we're here. So you've got your switch setting here for your Nintendo Switch stuff. Turn the stick off there. X input here for pretty much everything else. This allows you to switch what the lever does. So you could have your D-pad, the left stick, or indeed the right stick. That can be useful. This is your connectivity button, that's your turbo button, and that is like a home button. Switching between Bluetooth and 2.4G, I'm on 2.4G. You can use this stick wired as well through USB, and start and select buttons, player indicator. These two buttons here are programmable using the 8BitDo software. So you can I wouldn't do this personally, and I'm not using it on a PC anyway, but you can program, I don't know, like a fireball. Say you're playing Street Fighter, you can program a fireball onto that button. So if you can't manage a quarter circle punch, you can just throw a fireball like that. It's kind of cheating a bit. I mean, it's not a feature I'll use personally, but still, it's there if you want it. So let's talk modification. I've got some bits here. We've got, I've only got 4 buttons because Arcade World were low on stock, but they've got more on the way from Japan. So we've got some Sanwa buttons. I'm just trying to see if they're a different shade of red or not. maybe a little bit darker. Yeah, so we've got 4 of these. I'm going to put these in the 4 main buttons to start with until the others arrive. Yeah, these came from Arcade World UK. Great company. I love these guys. They're always mega helpful whenever I ring them up. Yeah, really good. So we've got 4 buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to replace the rest next week, as I say. We have got a Sanwa joystick, a JLF, legendary joystick with mounting plate. And I have put on an octagonal gate on the bottom. It came with, the one in here is a square, and this one came with the square. I hate these things. I've got a stack of them upstairs where I've dumped them off various joysticks. Yeah, no good. Got to be an octagonal gate. So I've already switched that over. I mean, yeah, these joysticks are fantastic, you'll know. So what we're going to do is we're going to get inside the stick and switch out these 4 buttons and switch out the joystick. Now, 8BitDo said that this stick is very easily modifiable, and I mean, to some extent that's true, but it could have made life a lot easier, and we'll get into that in a minute. We've also got a cable for connecting the stick. I've got a couple of spares actually for other little projects. Yeah, this parcel literally just arrived from Arcade World UK, right? And a couple of these as well. All right, so let's get into the stick now. When they say that this stick is very modifiable, the first you're going to hit an issue immediately, and that is, let's turn it over. You need a Torx T10 screwdriver, bit, whatever, one of these. Is that right? Wait, that's not right. Hold on. One of these. You're going to need one of these to get into it, which, yeah, isn't ideal. They could have just used something a bit more common, but, you know, it is what it is, as they say. So 6 screws to remove. Oh yeah, on the back here as well, whilst we're doing this, I'll show you. You've got, it comes with a 2.4G dongle, which is obviously latency-wise quicker than Bluetooth. Probably, I guess, almost as quick as wired, I would say. Yeah, and also a USB-C port there if you want to wire it and indeed charge it. This thing's got massive battery life. I can't remember what the milliamp hour is of the battery. It's something like 1,000 or more. I can't remember, but it goes on. It's got like a 30-hour battery life, something ridiculous. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. My PS4 pads, like, they run out of battery in like what feels like 2 hours or something ridiculous. It's that fucking light bar, I guess. I don't know. Right, so we'll get into it now. You're supposed to do like the time lapse here, aren't you? Maybe I'll do that for the last 2, eh? Nearly there. But yeah, this Torx 10 wasn't something I had. I had the right size bit, but it was too fat to go in here, so I had to get this. Okay. One more. If you're still with me, thank you very much. The grand reveal of the internals coming up. Ta-da! Right, okay. Set your screws aside. Don't lose those. Right, when you open it, be a little bit careful because you're going to be connected somewhere, I believe. Yeah, so here we go. Take that one off. Right, we can lose the bottom for a minute. Yeah, that's where the weight is. There's like a metal plate in there. That is, that's great. That gives it a bit of heft. Okay, so here's what we're dealing with. What should we do first? We've only got 4 buttons to do, and we're going to want to do these 4 here. So let's unplug them. These are the clip-in buttons, yeah. Sanwa also do, well, Famitsu, Sanwa, they all do them. They do screw-ins and they do clip-ins. Now the clip-ins, you want those because with these boards here, they get in the way. Let me see if I can show you. I've got a spare Famitsu, what Sanwa is it? I don't know, Sanwa. These are 30mm buttons, right? And as you can see, the screw type, it's the right size, but you're not getting the screw bit on top. Not enough room. So we use one of these. Little clip-in one. They're easier to use anyway. All right, so let's remove some cabling. What should we do first? Got a bit of a. I'm gonna have to cut that, I think, to get the joystick off. Yeah. All right. Let's see how easily these come off. These are like, what do they call these? Like little 4.8. There we go. Started singing the moment of truth there. I forgot I was making a vid. Right. So there's your sort of Sanwa clone. Yeah, it is different. It's noticeably different. Right, so we'll get rid of that. Over there. Clip this one in. Kaboom. Right, so let's re-clip that. Plug it back in. One. Right, I think that's on there. What I'll do is I'll speed through these next four, so you don't have to watch in horror. Okay guys, right, we've switched out all the buttons as best we can. It's a bit awkward, bit of a spaghetti junction of wires and things, and yeah, the crimp terminals are a bit stubborn, shall we say? But I think we're good. I think everything's on. Double checking. Yeah, all feels pretty good to me. Right. Okay, so we now got 4 Sanwa buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do they feel any better? Yeah, they do actually. Yeah. That's much more pronounced when they're in the stick like that. Okay, good. Right, so next thing is let's get rid of this piece of shit and this piece of shit and put in something a little bit better. I've got some wire cutters upstairs, but am I too lazy? No, I'm not too lazy. Let's go and get some wire cutters rather than using my girlfriend's blunt sewing scissors to remove that zip tie. And I'm going to get another zip tie as well to tidy it up again afterwards. I will be right back. Right, okay guys, we are back. We got a couple of zip ties. We got some cutters. So we're going to, firstly, to remove this stick, one of these has got to come off. It's got to be this one, right? Yeah, it definitely is. So, and this is when, careful not to cut any wires when you're doing this. This is when the 8BitDo's kind of claim that this stick is easy modifiable comes into question a little bit. Because what they've done is soldered the wires for the levers switches. They've soldered them directly to the switches. Let me show you. Now, that's not ideal. I mean, you could do some soldering yourself. You've got some solder points here for connecting another one. But what we really want is to be able to use a connector, like so, which you kind of can, but you have to like wedge it on here. So I've not quite settled on whether I'm going to solder onto here or wedge a connector on the new joystick yet, but we'll see in a minute, I think. You can experience it with me as I decide. So firstly, this needs to come out. Okay, that's that gone. Get that clear of the buttons. Right, so we need to undo the 4 screws. Right, so having removed the cable, we are going to remove the 4 screws. As you can see, that they've given you like a universal mounting plate with this joystick, which is kind of cool. Okay, so having removed the 4 screws, we got to remove the stick itself. So get into here. Right, so that will remove your ball top. Get rid of that. Your dust cover and your, I don't know what they call that other bit, the cylindrical bit. And now the joystick will come straight out, I think. Right, there we go. Joystick gone. And here is the one that's going to replace it. It feels 100 times better. It might even sound better over the video. I don't know. So firstly, let's get rid of this. Now, do we want the cover? I don't think I do. I think I'll leave it as it is. If it even fits. Yeah, it does fit. What do we think, guys? I prefer it like that. Looks like a Blast City, doesn't it? Right. Okay, guys, we're going to put the joystick back in properly, screw it in, and yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hang it off the edge of the table here, so that the joystick doesn't get pressed up through, rather than removing the lever itself. Screwdriver, one of those. I haven't got a magnetic screwdriver, so this just makes life a little bit easier. If you're used to messing about with pinball machines, you're forever dropping screws in the bottom of them and stuff. Some never to be found again, so yeah, you're kind of used to this. Right. Right, okay guys. 4 screws in, locking the joystick in place. Octagonal gate on, buttons changed. Here's the top side of the stick. Oh man, that honestly, the difference is night and day. I've heard people say in reviews, people I really like as well, a modern vintage game, alright? No, hold on a minute. ETA Prime I saw talking about this stock stick that they give you. I don't think he's like overly fussy. I love his channel, by the way, but I don't think he's overly fussy, and I think this feels cheap personally. But you know, you might find different. But to me, I mean, to be fair, the octagonal gate helps, but that is so much nicer. The buttons, I would say, are like I don't know, a 20% improvement. The stick is good. a lot more than that. Okay, so stick's on. Now we have to deal with wiring it up. Now, let me run you through the options as I see it. So you can buy sticks without this. I can't think what this connector is called off the top of my head. You can buy them without it, and you could, if you liked, cut the old cable and solder to the switches on the stick. Cut the old cable and solder to the switches on the stick. Sorry about the camera, it's terrible. I'm not going to do that because we got one with a connector. Now, just thinking this through in my head. So connect that up to there, obviously, clink, and then somehow we either solder onto the board, not the end of the world. It's only 5 things, ground and the 4 directions. We might have to Google which colour corresponds to which direction, or I've got this cable here. And I'm wondering, I mean, that certainly goes on there, this bit on there. That definitely works. And I'm wondering whether we might be able to bodge this onto here. I swear this is doable. Let's have a look. You can do this with me. Like, if that goes in there, right? I swear I've seen someone do this. Oh man, that is... I mean, it's not very professional looking. I mean, it ain't coming off. What do we think? I could always get a knife. Whoops. Fuck me, that's really on there. That's really on there. What film is that? Sorry guys, I'm taking you through my thought process. What I'm thinking is, we could trim this here, and then that would sit in there even better. In fact, that's exactly what we're going to do. Bear with me, I will get a kniffy. Okay guys, we're back. Got a knife. What we're going to do, is we're going to cut this off here, this little bit of plastic. So that fits in there better. Yeah, I think so. I'm just thinking whether I can be asked to get the soldering iron out. I mean, no, I can't. Okay guys, we are back, and what I've done is I've just trimmed using Stanley here. I've just trimmed one of the bits off, as you can see. I don't know if you can see. So what we're going to do is hopefully plug that straight in. Superb. That worked fantastically. So that looks a fair bit more professional than what it did. Yeah, because these are just grounds. I can see now it's all labelled. Yeah, I definitely saw someone doing this. Anyway, so then connect the other end of this. Let's just loop this back under here somehow. Something like that. Right, there we go, guys. So we've now got the lever attached properly. That's a lovely job. That's much more straightforward than pissing about with solder pads. You can get this double female connector from Arcade World. So yeah, connect that there, trim that bit off, and then under here going onto the stick. That'll go on nice and easy. So there we go. We have now done all the wiring, if you like. It's not exactly complex, is it? Top side, like so. Yeah, we'll chuck one of these on. Chuck on a ball top. We'll tighten that up in a minute. Oh man, that is massively improved. Okay, good. Right, let's tidy up a little bit because this looks a bit messy to me. Let's have a look. What about something like that? Oh shit. Being careful not to pull anything too tight, but just for a bit of neatness. Get rid of that. Yeah, that'll do, I think. Okay, so all we've got to do is reconnect this to the charging dock. And we're good to go. We'll test the stick out, shall we? Flip it over. All right, so that is that reconnected. Stick back down. So yeah, they say that this thing's like easy modifiable. I guess it is, but it could be easier, you know? It's certainly not like a complete tap-in. I can't get the case on back on. Is that back on? There we go. So yeah, overall, this is a very, very cool stick. I think for the money, you're getting a lot, a hell of a lot. And I do like the NES Advantage color scheme. a lot. I was thinking about changing it, and after talking to a mate of mine, I was like, no, do you know what? He's right. I'm going to leave it as it is. The red, the black, and the grey. It's vintage, isn't it? It's that whole NES era. You know, the kind of the Rob the Robot and the Power Glove. All that era of NES. They've definitely nailed that look. I'm surprised Nintendo, in all their wisdom, aren't on their case with regards to copyright or something. But right, let's get this back together and test it on out. Okay guys, we're back together. We've got the NVIDIA Shield going. Everything is working as hoped first time, so that's always promising. Let's just load a game quickly. What do we fancy? It's got to be a fighter, right? You always sport for choice of all these things. There we go. Let's go traditional, shall we? Let's go Street Fighter 2. The World Warrior, the original. Just coin it up. Yeah, joystick all working perfectly. Okay guys, so there we have it, the 8BitDo arcade stick. Overall, yeah, great, really fantastic for the money. Change the parts around, it's a piece of cake, as you can see, and you've got yourself a cracking stick that's very versatile with regards to connectivity. I should point out you can use this stick on a PS4, a PS5, and a Xbox One, I think, and maybe even the new one. With a Wingman Brook adapter. So yeah, the stick can basically play on everything. So well worth your money and your time. Highly recommended, I would say, but I would certainly switch out the lever. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the content, and I will speak to you next time. Cheers, guys.